Hey SDA students, it's Mr. Barron. I have a demo here on Camworks and probably a couple parts of this, but we're going to start off with the first 15-minute lesson. If you need SolidWorks or Camworks and you're at the school, email me and I can send you the link. The demo version of Camworks is fully functional except for it won't post, and we'll talk more about that later. Once you have installed Camworks, you need to go to Tools and Add-ins. You need to make sure these two boxes here are checked. That'll launch it up, and what that'll do is that'll put a menu here in Camworks. It'll give you two menus here, and then over here in the design tree it'll give you two tabs here. And the reason why we're going to use Camworks is because once you have a part designed in SolidWorks and you want to machine it, say on a CNC mill like this part would be made, you have to basically produce a machine language, G-code, that the CNC machine can understand. And Camworks specializes basically in kind of being the middleman between SolidWorks and the CNC machine. Mastercam is probably even more popular industry standard, and they also have Mastercam for SolidWorks, where like Camworks it goes into the SolidWorks program. The nice thing about that is that if you change a dimension in SolidWorks, all your machining is updated. So a lot of times they call this kind of software CAM software, C-A-M, CAM software. So CAM is basically computer-aided manufacturing, and CAD, computer-aided design, that's more like SolidWorks. Alright, so here we go. Probably the first step to do is to go to the feature tree and double-click Stock Manager. And you can pick your stock a few different ways. There's three ways here, and the bounding box works well. Another nice thing here too is that a lot of times you want to maybe increase the size of your stock so that you have maybe some room to bolt it down. There's lots of reasons, but I'm going to go ahead and increase a 1/2 inch on the X plus and the Z plus. You might want to do the Y possibly. Also in this menu is where you do the material. That'll help configure the feeds and speeds. So I'll go ahead and pick 6061 aluminum. So I got my stock material, put a little extra there so I can maybe bolt down or... Alright, so that's, and if I click it one time you can see it's highlighting. That's good. The next thing you have to do is what's called, you have to insert a new mill setup. So you click this button and there's different places to do it. This is one way, and what you want to do is you want to basically click the surface that you want to machine, have the CNC machine. So I'm going to click this here at the top. Notice how you can see the arrow going down. So that's what I want. Green checkbox. Now it says mill part setup 4, and I could rename this, which I will, to top. So top. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, well, before I go on, let me first go up to the Camworks menu. I'm going to go to Options, and I'm going to turn off this auto save, which is pretty annoying. And also under mill features, you're going to have a lot of check boxes here, and I would uncheck them because we basically want to do all the operations ourselves manually. What this does is Camworks kind of guesses what needs to be done and tries to do it in a wizard-like way, but you know, there's much control. So alright, anyways, what I'm going to do now is basically the first step is we're going to do the part perimeter first. So insert part perimeter feature. I click there. Boss means to kind of run along the outside of a part, and pocket kind of means have the machine run inside of something. So for the perimeter, I'm going to pick boss, and I'm going to pick course. And at that point, it thinks a little bit. And now, underneath this top, it says perimeter course. And if I click this, you can see it did in fact find the perimeter, which is great. And then you also see that the color of it is this cyan kind of purple color. And in this program, purple means something has to be done. I recommend right-clicking. We're going to generate an operation plan. And basically, when I click this, the computer thinks about what's going to basically need, what's going to have to happen to get that perimeter done. And so it'll think a minute. And then it was hard to see it, but we just went from this menu, feature tree, and it brought us automatically over to this operations tree. So this is where we were. Notice how this is no longer purple, it's black now. And it took us right over where we need to go next, here. So it's purple. The next step is to right click and generate a toolpath. And what that means is that it's going to think and figure out, okay, where's the end mill going to come in? Is it going to go counterclockwise, clockwise, zigzag? You know, basically what kind of path is the tool going to need to go on? And you can change this, but we're not going to change it for now. We're just going to leave it. The next step is to simulate toolpath. Click this and hit play, and boom. You know, not too difficult. We still have a lot more to go over as far as having this thing maybe step little by little. But essentially, we got one operation done. Let's go ahead and do this this big circle here. Here we are. We have to go start. Make sure that you're at the Camworks feature tree. You're on top. We're going to right click, and we're going to go to insert 2.5 axis mill operations. And contours kind of going along the outside of something. Rough mill is kind of going inside something. So the circle is going inside. And this menu pops up, and right here you want to insert 2.5 axis feature. So I click this. You can notice that in SolidWorks I named my sketches. I gave them names. Instead of it saying sketch 1, sketch 2, sketch 3, it's very clear here because I took the time to name them. That's what you should do. So I'm going to click on here. First thing is pocket. Pretty much in here, I would say most of the time you're going to be doing pocket, boss along the outside, and maybe the engrave feature. So I have pocket. I'm going to do center circle. Next. How deep? I'll go up to face and I'll click right there. So it's 0.2. Rough finish is fine. Next. And finish. I'll go ahead and hit the X here. Notice what just happened though. It just put circular pocket here. So again, I can right click, do the operation plan. It'd be a good idea for you to pause and do this as I'm doing it. It's taking a little bit of time here. Alright, so it finished that. I'm going to go ahead and right click and go to Edit Definition, and we'll start off here under Tool. The tool crib is the area where you can basically pick different end mills, things like that. So if you know about what end mills are, great. Here's a 1/4 inch end mill, high speed steel, 2 flute. So I'm going to hit select, and it basically put that tool in here, which is great. You can go add if you don't see your tool, and it brings up an even bigger library. So that's how that works. We're going to talk about the feeds and speeds later and some of these other things, but basically I'm going to, for simplicity, I'm going to do this whole part here with a 1/4 inch end mill. Even though I have holes here that should be done with a center drill followed by drilling, we're just going to do everything with a 1/4 inch end mill, and that's what we're going to do. So I can also notice how there's 2 purple things here. I can right click here and go generate toolpath, and it'll do everything automatically. And just like I can right click here and simulate, and it'll step through everything all at once. So we got 2 things done. Let's go back over and let's do the 4 holes. So right click, insert 2.5 axis mill operation. I'm going to do rough mill, and this is where I picked the sketch in SolidWorks. Click that. I got my 4 holes. It's a pocket, and again, doing a hole would be the more standardized way, using a drill to do it, but we're going to do pocket for this. Alright, so hit next. As far as the I could type it in right here. I could go up to face, flip my part around, click the back side. Doesn't really matter how you want to do it. So I could just type in here 0.25. Sometimes with it, if you are drilling, you want to go a little deeper than your part to actually go all the way through. So alright, so now I hit finish. And then I'll go ahead and hit the red X. And you can see here I got my 4 holes, so I'll generate the operation plan for that. And I'll figure out what needs to be done to get these all done. And if these holes are 1/4 inch, it won't let you use a 1/4 inch end mill. At least I haven't figured out how to get that to work. You have to use something slightly smaller. So you notice here too that it did basically 2 operations, rough and a contour. It's basically kind of like, think of it as the last one, it does a real finish pass to make a real nice smooth finish. So depending on what kind of quality you're going for, you might even be able to delete one of these. But I'm going to double click it, and I'm going to go ahead and go to Tool Crib and pick my tool. I'll do a 1/4 inch end mill and hit select. Yes, okay. And generate toolpath, and we'll simulate that. Alright, so that's it for this first 15-minute lesson, and you can go to the next part when you're done.